All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another mobility session. We've got a beautiful sunny day today, and let's get started. So today we're going to do something a little different than what we've seen over the few weeks or the many weeks, I guess now that I've been attending with you all. And so today we're going to be doing 4 different rounds. In each of those rounds, we're going to be pairing 2 or 3 mobility exercises together, and we're going to go through a few different sets of that. Okay, so I'll go over the first round and then we'll dive into the rest as we go through. But the theme for today is a little bit of strength with mobility. So I'm going to encourage you all, for some equipment that you do have at home, is if you can grab, first off, if you have like a band or a scarf, we will be using that in a couple of the rounds too. But if you've got something that we can have for that, I've got a nice resistance band here, but a scarf or something, we're going to be doing it for some shoulder dislocates and also for holding that hamstring stretch near the end. So if you've got something like that, I'll give you some time to grab that. And then also if you have like a tiny bit of resistance, and for me, I've got this little plate, I've got some plates at home, but I understand that not everyone has some equipment like this available. So if you have like a soup can or like a water bottle that you can fill up, and that will just add a little bit of resistance. And trust me, we don't need much for the exercises that we are doing with that. So when I add the resistance to some of these, the focus is going to still be on creating some stability. Okay, so stability with having some resistance allows us to build a little bit of strength with these movements. Okay, so our first round, we've got sideline rotations. So we're going to be down on the ground and we're going to be opening up and doing that rotational movement that we've seen before. So I'm going to come down on the mat and give you a little peek of what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to pick a side and we're going to be doing 10 reps of these on each side. So we'll take a nice deep breath in, and as we open, breathing out. So we're going to do 10 repetitions, okay? And then we'll do 10 repetitions on the other side. From there, we're going to be going into some leg swings, okay? So we've got 2 sets of those, well, 1 on each leg, 15 leg swings, and we're just going to go forward and back. So you can grab onto a post or something, and we're just going to swing it open and make it bigger there. Okay, so a little bit of dynamic movements to start us off. And then lastly, in this first block, we're going to be doing those shoulder dislocates that I talked about with the band. So if you have that, we're going to take it nice and wide and really open up the shoulders and the chest. Okay, so that's going to be round 1. And what we're going to do is go through 3 sets of that. Okay, so once you've kind of made your way through, start back up to the top, and we'll go through 3 sets together, and we'll move on to the next. And keep in mind that we all might be at different points, so just take your time and go into the movements as needed. Okay, and then I will go into the next one as we go along. So I'm going to put 8 minutes on the timer, and we have 8 minutes to go through 3 to 4 sets, depending on how quick we move in. But I would suggest take your time, be nice and fluid with the movements, and if you hear any snap, crackle, pops, just again, that could be normal. If it's causing you any pain, then just limit that range. Okay, all right. So I've got the timer on and we'll get started. And if you want, throw some music on for yourself as well. Okay, so I'm going to come down. We've got 10 reps starting off with these sideline rotations. So the goal here is to try to get that upper back nice and flat onto the ground. We're rotating, loosening that thoracic spine, and we're also opening the chest here as well. Big deep breath in and breathe out as we open. Good. Once you've done 10 on that side, we're going to switch over to the opposite side. Really try to match the breath with the movements. Become a little bit more intentional. And I find that you can just kind of sink a little deeper into each of these movements. One more for me, and then I'm gonna hop up into those leg swings, 15 each side. So again, go at your own pace. We might all be at different spots, and that's perfectly fine. So 15 leg swings, opening up that hip. You might feel a pull in the hamstring. There's 15 for me. I'm going to switch. Good. Right, from there into those shoulder dislocates. So the wider you get, the more you might be able to get around. The more you walk your hands in, the harder it's going to be to link all the way around. So find that position. You can even do this with a broomstick. Ten of these, 8. Here's 9 for me. And back into 10. Good. All right, so that's round 1. I've done 1 set. I'm going to aim for 2 more. We're about 3 minutes in. Okay. And I've put the mobility activity code in the chat box too. So it's mobility 47 for those of you that are participating today. And I'm going to switch over to the opposite side. Good. Hopefully that T-spine is feeling a little looser too. And the nice thing when we do this style of training with our mobility, where we do a few sets, is that we can warm up each round. So the next round, we might feel like we can get a little bit more range or challenge it a little more. Back to those leg swings for me. Try here again, keep that torso nice and stable so we're not swinging with it. We want to let the work come from that hip. You feel the glute as you extend back. You might feel your hamstring as you kick forward. That always feels so nice in that hip joint. And then I'm ending this set with those shoulder dislocates. Nice big circles. Try to keep the traps down here, okay, right here. We don't want to come up and try it. We want to drop it down. Chest is proud, neck is nice and tall. Good. You'll notice I've got a bunch of blankets on here. My cat was just having a little nap and I made him a little nest. All right, I got one more set here. And I believe we have a minute and a half left. So just as much as possible, get through this next round. You might be ahead of me. I like to talk and pause. And so you might be finishing up your third set already. There's 10 for me. I'm going to switch over. And 10. Right, pop it on up. The time we've got here. All right, we got about 15 seconds left. So I'm going to count you down, and then you can finish up wherever you were ended, or whatever exercise you were ending on. All right, and 5 more seconds here. And time. Good. All right, so when you're ready, you can shake it out, grab some water, do whatever you need to get ready for the next round. So the next round, actually, you might want to get a little bit ready because we are going to be using some elevation. So you can use your couch. You can do this from the ground. I'll show you the option. You can do it from a couch. You could do it from the edge of your bed. Maybe it's a stool. But what we're going to be doing here is our pigeon good mornings from the bench. Okay, so we're going to come into that pigeon pose. Okay, so our knee is going to be flexed. Okay, it's not like a 90-90 like that we've seen before. We want to tuck that heel a little bit closer in. We're extending that back leg, and what we're doing here is keeping that torso nice and long, and we're folding. Okay, so we're going to be doing 12 repetitions there. On one side, we're going to switch to the other side, and this is where you want that water bottle, that can of soup, or that weight plate for this next exercise, because we're going to be focusing on some Y raises. Okay, and Y raises help create a lot of stability into the shoulder. Okay, so our pigeons, we're opening up the glutes. We're loosening up the hips there, especially with that hinging. We can get a little deeper. And our Y raise, we're going to move up to our shoulders. So you're going to want a little bit of support there, whether it's couch, wall. And what we're doing is raising up to a Y. So you don't need much weight for this at all. Okay, so we're just coming up to that Y. We're doing one side, 10 repetitions. We're going to switch the other side, 10 repetitions. But you want to come out a little further away from your ear, right? So that nice picture, you're making a Y. Okay, so 12 repetitions of the pigeons, and then we're going to do 10 and 10. Okay, so I'll put 8 minutes on the clock there again, and as many sets as you can. Okay, so come on down, and I'll show you the option to start from the ground too. Okay, so 8 minutes. So the bench, or you can come down onto the ground into your pigeon pose. Okay, this one's going to feel a little bit more aggressive from the ground, but you can do the same thing from the ground there. Okay, I like a little bit of elevation for myself. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to go for 12. You can even keep a challenge by keeping your hands up, right, or behind your back. Nice big stretch into that glute. Feel that hip open up. Get a little bit of core stability here too. And 12 for me. Again, I'm going to switch sides and make sure, like always, we don't want to round when we're going into this. We want to make sure we keep the shoulders down and back, and we keep that nice neutral spine. Okay, so I'm going to bring my other leg up here and going into that pigeon. We're keeping it nice and dynamic and fluid, easing into it. So you might start with a little bit of range, and as we go through, you might be able to dip down a little bit deeper. Good. There's 12 for me. I'm going to grab my plate, and I like a little bit of elevation for this. You've got like the back of a chair. I'm going to use this because it allows me to give some room for my hand to come down. So I'm grabbing that plate and I'm just going to that Y raise. Nice stability exercise. We can build some strength in the shoulder. So 10 on one side, we're going to go 10 on the other. Nice breath. Good. Good. So next round, try a little pause at the top of those, right? It'll be add a little bit more of a challenge. Coming back down to my pigeon. Good morning. Good. That one feels so nice. One of my favorites. Especially after a big leg day. We're about halfway here. Come on up. And again, we're going to be at different spots, so don't get too hung up about where I am. If you like, you can follow me at the same pace, but so I'm going to try a little pause here. Make sure with these, we want to keep the shoulder down away. So we don't want to tuck it up, drop it down, and feel the back of the shoulder working here. Might feel a little bit of a burn in the backside. All right, I'm going into my third set here. Let me just check the timer. How are we all doing at home? Good? All right, we've got 2 minutes left. Nice controlled movement. Remember that breath. To really feel it on the leg that's up on that support, or it's on the ground. Right, check the timer here. We might be close. Yeah, we got 30 more seconds here. So finish up those last couple exercises that you were on. All right, and 10 more seconds. All right, time. Good. All right, nice work, everyone. Okay, so next up, we did some good mornings in that pigeon pose. So we really got to focus on one side and then the other. This time we're gonna bring them both together, okay? And we're going to see if we can try those good mornings just from that seated position. So you can do this from a chair, bench, couch, wherever you are, just feet are planted on the ground. Another thing that you can do to make this exercise a little bit more challenging is loading up with some weight. So you can grab like maybe some textbooks and hinge forward. Okay, I'm gonna do it from the side so you can see. So if you want, you can load up with a plate, a textbook, your soup cans, whatever you have at home, but you can add some load into that. So same thing that with that pigeon pose, but this time we're gonna take a little wider of a stance and we're coming forward. Okay, we might feel this a little bit more in our hips. Okay, so from there, we're gonna go into what's called a external rotation of the shoulder. Okay, so we're gonna have one foot up, and you can do this seated. Okay, but we're gonna have that one elbow on top. Okay, and we're gonna come down, and we're gonna come all the way up. So the challenge is gonna be picking that weight up, or that soup can, whatever you're gripping onto. We basically just wanna come down and come up. So we've got some internal rotation and some external rotation, okay? Just creating a little bit of strength into that shoulder joint, okay? So there's our two exercises. So we're gonna be doing 10 good mornings and 10 of those elbow rotations on each side, okay? So I'm gonna set the timer. We got 8 minutes. Again, as many times as you can to get through that. You can also load it down below too, like this. Really elongating that spine. So if we get to a certain point and we can't hinge anymore and we start to round, that kind of defeats the purpose. So just go to where you can hinge. If you're here and it's too tight, then just stay there and slowly with those repetitions, see if you can bring it down a little more. From there, I'm gonna prop my foot up on that bench, going into that internal and external rotation. Here's 10 for me. Good. And I'm gonna switch. Keep that control on the way down. Good. And you might notice that one side has a little less internal or external rotation as you go through that. And that's okay, right? Like always, just collecting information. Comes up. Feels a little toasty up there, eh? Nice, good. Awesome. All right, and then you could always take away that weight or that resistance that you have if you're finding that you're having difficulty getting that internal external rotation, just getting used to the movement, right? So you can stay here and just focus on that if you're finding that you can't get that range. Ooh, those last couple of reps. Nice. Good. Okay, we're about 5 minutes in. We got 3 more minutes here. We can probably get through another set. Keep that head neutral. So we don't want to be looking up. I know you might be looking at the screen, but we want to try to keep that chin tucked. Okay, so that our head is neutral all the way down to our spine. Good. All right. I hope you all get a chance to get outside today. It's so beautiful out. Maybe that's why we're so quiet here live. Everyone's out in the sunshine. Good. Checking our time here. All right, we got 1 more minute. Good. All right, you check the countdown. Okay, we've got 15 seconds, so finish up wherever you are. And we'll go into our last little bit. All right, and 3, 2, 1, that's time. Very good. All right, so hopefully we're feeling a little looser in our hips, our glutes. We got some shoulder, we got some chest opening up there too. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna do a little bit of hamstrings and lats to finish us off. Okay, so if you wanna come down to the ground and make sure you have that like elevation ready, because we will be using that for our lats, but we're gonna start off with some holds for our hamstrings. So if you wanna grab that scarf or that band that you used before for those shoulder dislocates, we're gonna come down to our mat and do a nice hamstring stretch. Okay. So coming down, laying on your back, I'm going to set the timer because we're going to be holding these stretches for 1 minute. Okay. So what we're going to do is come down to the back. We're going to link that band around. Okay. We're just going to hold that hamstring. Okay. So we're going to try to kick that heel up to the ceiling. We're going to try to flex that toe towards us. And we want to try to push that knee away. Okay. And you can kind of bounce into it if it's feeling sticky right now. We just warmed it up with those good mornings. So it should feel a little bit better and warm. And now we're just going to go into that static hold. Okay. So get another 30 seconds here. We're going to do this twice. So this leg, and then we'll move to the other. 15 seconds here. Breathe. See if you can sink a little deeper. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Switch legs to the other hamstring, keeping the other leg bent. Ooh, this one feels way tighter. So again, pushing that heel to the ceiling. We want to push that knee out towards the wall. And we're just holding. 15 seconds in. We've got 20 seconds here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. We've got one more on each side. So we're going to go back again, holding for that 60 seconds. Ooh, I'm all twisted. All right. And let's hold that. 1 minute. So let's see. Now we're going back to that starting leg. And we've already held that for a minute. How does it feel this time around? Does it feel a little looser? Do you find you get a little bit more range of motion? Good, 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, shake out. All right, one more. Other leg. Switch it up. And our last 60 seconds, starting now. You can grip that scarf or that band or whatever you have with 2 hands. Nice work. We're 40 seconds in, 20 to go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. Nice. Shake it out. Hamstrings probably feel a lot better now. Okay, we've got one more stretch here coming up next, and we're going to focus on our lats. Okay, so we're going to do our prayer pose. So what we need here is a little bit of an elevation, a chair, whatever you have. We basically want to sink our head through in between our arms, okay? And those elbows are going to be resting on that bench, okay? What you can do here is hold it like this with our thumbs towards our head, okay? Fish that hand through, or you can also play around by opening and extending. That makes it a little bit more challenging, okay? You should feel this opening up in your lat. So let's hold that for 1 minute. Getting in that set position. And reset that timer. Okay, let's hold. Try to picture sinking your chest into the ground. Feeling that stretch. Taking a big deep breath in, releasing. You can play around with opening and closing it. Might feel that a little bit more into your shoulders. We've got 15 seconds here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk yourself out of that. Good. All right, we can sink back on our heels here. We're just going to do a little side bend to end us off. So nice big reach. If you want, you can come all the way down to your forearm if you've got that flexibility in the side. Good. Just switching it over to the other. Big deep breath in. Right. Just cross it. Open up that chest, released. All right, my friends. Well, thank you for joining or watching this recording. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you feel a little bit looser, a little bit more mobile, and have a great rest of your week. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.